Barbershop conversation, guys. Feel free, hit the subscribe button. I didn't play no theme music though, man. We got to play the theme music really quick, man. I'm excited what I'm about to embark on, man. Let's sing together. Life is games with no rehearsal.
Learn quickly, they'll come for your role. Games get played, can't take it personal. Cause the devil is a lie. Hey, I'm telling you the truth. Hey, it's only what you do. Hey,
some things you got to do. Hey. So we got a special guest today, man, and I just can't wait, man. I'm about to embark on this, guys, man. You guys know, for those of you who don't know, I was a history major in college, and I'm excited now that we got time. We got no fights. I can really delve into like these interviews that I've been wanting to get to for years. And we got Eddie Mustafa Muhammad coming on, and I just wanted to give like a historical perspective of boxing and what it was like going up in the 60s and the 70s as it relates to boxing. He's going to call in at any moment now, and I'm just excited, man. I'm excited, man. So we're gonna I'm gonna attempt to do my best to get all these interviews I can get, so we can literally have first person stories as it relates to the history of the sport, because he who tells history owns history. You know what I mean? And if we can give some clear accounts, some first person accounts moving forward, these interviews will be the subjects of documentation and documentaries and movies later on down the line, like in 2121. You know what I mean? When they want to know the history of boxing and they want to find out who Muhammad Ali was, and Herbert Muhammad, and the list goes on, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. You know what I mean? It's going to we'll have the ability to tell the story. So he's going to call in any moment. And don't forget, we go live every night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And the Patreon, click the link in the description box. Join the Patreon. We're doing a hell of a job on the Patreon, man. I just want to say thank you guys in advance. And we should be rocking and rolling. So we just sitting here waiting for him to call in, and then we'll be good. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, and this is going to be a fun. So grab your popcorn, and these interviews are going to be better than your favorite movie, man. It's going to be a whole lot of new information, that oh shit, it's calling in, but call back in, and then we should be good. Okay, he just called in, but it didn't go through. So let me get him in real quick. Okay, cool. Because if I call, I got to use this program, because if it, damn. Okay, he should be calling in any moment. Hey, when you do this shit in real time, you know what I mean? It's good, but we're going to get it going. We should be getting it going any second. Hopefully call back in, Mr. Muhammad, and we'll be good. Okay, there we go. There we go. We got you in here, man. I appreciate you, man. I saw you call. It went to voicemail by accident, man. First, I wanted to say thank you for doing the interview with us, man. And I'm excited because these are interviews I've always been wanting to know about, like the history of boxing and the impact of Muslims in boxing, and like your impact, Herbert Muhammad, Murat Muhammad, everyone. And so I just want to say thank you, man. These are interviews I've been dying to do for years, man. And
no problem. No problem.
Yeah. So let's see, where should I start? So we'll start with like how did you get into boxing, first of all?
Well, by me coming from the Brownsville section of Brooklyn, you know, we had nothing to do but fight. You know, I had to fight to go to the store for my mother. I had to fight to come back into the house. So I was doing this here.
Did you break the eggs, or did you drop the milk?
No. You know what? I was fast with my hands. So if it fell out of my hand, I would catch it and still do my business.
For sure. Yeah, I know you grew up in New York, and what was the climate like in the 60s and 70s in New York? would you say?
It was, radical. I mean, it was growing up in Brooklyn, not just Brooklyn, in Brownsville. It was like, everybody looked out for themselves. Whatever you can do for yourself was perfect. So we worked for ourselves. We did whatever we had to do for ourselves.
Now, you grew up in Brooklyn, right? So you were young. So was it Malcolm X or Elijah Muhammad that had a great impact on you?
Well, what Malcolm was teaching, was cool, because my older brothers and sisters were Muslim before I was.
Okay.
And they showed me the way to go.
And when you chose to be Muslim, Elijah Muhammad, how old were you? First of all, how old were you when you became a Muslim?
17.
17. Okay. And so you're already head in boxing, right? Because I know Muslims had a huge hand in boxing.
Well, Muhammad Ali really had the effect on me when I became a Muslim. I saw him box a couple of times. When I was a kid, at that time he was 10 years older than me, and I would see him box on TV, in the newspapers, and everything like that. And I wanted to be just like him.
Wow. How did you meet him?
Oh, some friends of mine out of Newark, New Jersey, they took me to the camp because I was getting ready to fight for the world title, light heavyweight championship, and they picked that place where I should train at. And I went and I met Ali up there, and he said, "You can train anytime you want up here."
Wow. What gym was that where you at in Newark? Do you remember?
Oh, Carol and Kelly's gym in Newark, New Jersey.
What year was this?
That was like 80, 81.
81. Okay. And you guys since developed a great relationship, right?
Oh, without a doubt.
Talk about the interactions between you and how it developed.
Well, we just started boxing, when I first went up to the camp, because everybody was telling him about me. So he wanted to see for himself. And he found out for himself.
How many rounds y'all sparred?
We boxed.
How many rounds?
We boxed. The boxing got so good to him, he pulled the plug out of the wall. And we just boxed until we must have boxed for an hour straight.
Wow. Now, and let's take us back. So you joined the Nation of Islam at 17, right? So that's roughly like 1980. Is that about right?
No, further back.
Oh, you're 52. Yeah, you're born 1952. So like 1971.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now, why the Nation of Islam and not Sunni Muslim at the time? Because I know now you're Sunni Muslim. Why did you choose the Nation over Sunni at the time?
I'm just a regular Muslim. I believe in Allah, who is God, and I don't care if you're Sunni, Orthodox. A Muslim is a Muslim. That's all.
Now, with the how did the assassination of Malcolm X impact like Muslims in your family and just Muslims as a whole?
Well, first and foremost, it impacted us a great deal. Like I said, my brothers and sisters, they knew Malcolm, and I'm friends with his family to this day.
Wow. Now, can you speak on your thoughts as it relates to like what happened, or do you just keep it to yourself?
Well, I wasn't there,
You
so I
wasn't there.
couldn't tell you what happened. But as the time goes on, you hear things. You hear who was there, who pulled the trigger, you know, and hey, it's like that. But I wasn't there, so I couldn't speak on it.
Can you share on what you've heard?
Well, some people that I came to know, I heard he was involved in it. Like I said, I wasn't there.
I understand.
So I can't point the finger at nobody.
Did you get a chance to see the docuseries on it on Netflix?
Yeah.
What's your overall take on that?
It was a great series. I enjoyed what they conjured up and what they put together. It was great. It shed a lot of light on a few things that I was hearing.
Okay. Now, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Muhammad. Go ahead.
And what I heard, they had, there was a guy. He was involved in it. They said he was the one that had the shotgun that pulled the trigger to kill Malcolm.
How can you hide in plain sight for over 50 years? If that's true, allegedly, like,
Well, it is what it is. At that time, Malcolm had a falling out with a lot of the Muslim brothers. And so you can hide anywhere you want. He was a good Muslim.
Do you being that I'm just a history guy, I'm neither Muslim nor Christian. I'm just a guy that's seeking information. Do you think that there's like some right and wrong in that, meaning that some say it was like a lot of loyalty, Elijah Muhammad, you know what I mean, versus a man who in many accounts say Malcolm X just stood for what was right?
Well, Malcolm proved a lot of things that we thought wasn't true. He proved us wrong.
Okay. What's your stance on the Nation of Islam now, if I may ask?
Well, I'm still a Muslim.
You just,
I'm a die Muslim.
You're gonna die Muslim.
Exactly.
Okay. So you're in Ramadan now. How's that treating you? Was it day 4, day 3 or 4?
Day 4, but I'm not. I can't because I'm a diabetic.
Oh, gotcha.
So I can't celebrate Ramadan. I'd love to. So. But I do other things to make up for that, like I feed 100 Muslims.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so I get a kick out of feeding the Muslims.
I bet.
Well, not just Muslims, anybody that need help.
Gotcha. Now, when did you turn pro? 72, 73, somewhere in there?
So yeah, right around there, 72, 73.
How was it being a Muslim and saying you want to be a professional fighter? Because by then you've changed your name, right?
Right.
So
I changed my name in 1980.
Oh, 19. So later on down the line.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to have a platform to make an announcement. So the announcement and the platform was when I won the light heavyweight championship of the world. That was my platform.
Okay.
My name is no longer Eddie Gregory. My name is Eddie Mustafa Muhammad.
Why did you keep Eddie, if I may ask? Mr. Muhammad?
Yeah.
Why did you keep Eddie?
Oh, out of respect for my mother and father.
Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. Now, you're a Muslim in 1971, right? At 17. You're born 1952, right? Or 19, so
Right.
so 1968 or 69.
1952.
Okay. What is it more challenging being a Muslim and being a professional fighter? Or would you say it was pretty much on par with every other black athlete trying to be a professional fighter?
Well, it didn't affect me in any way. I was a Muslim first. And then I did what I had to do in the ring.
Okay. How was it training during Ramadan? And did you ever have to take fights during Ramadan? And
No.
Too hard?
It's very hard.
I bet. Yeah, I told Julian J. Rock Williams, I had a conversation with him about that because he actually took a fight with Jared Hurd, and the fight was the second week in May. You know what I mean? So he had to do Ramadan and train at night. It was pretty intense.
It's hard.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I would never schedule a fight during Ramadan.
How would you assess your professional career? Like the ups and downs, the left and rights?
I did what I had to do when I was world champion. That's everybody's dream. I fulfilled my dreams, became a world champion.
You beat Marvin Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. You beat Marvin Johnson, right?
I showed other guys how to become world champions also.
And then after you won the world championship, you fought Michael Spinks. Talk about the build up to that fight, because I believe Michael Spinks was the 76 Olympics, Montreal, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Montreal.
Yeah,
right.
Montreal. So talk about the build up to that fight. And some consider him the greatest light heavyweight and all that of all time, whatever the case may be. But just talk about.
Well, Michael was a great fighter, no doubt about it. I give credit where credit is due. He beat me fair and square, but I wasn't at my best. I wasn't at my best. I had to make weight because I went up to heavyweight, and I had to lose weight, and that took a toll on my body.
Did you have Muhammad Ali for that sparring? For that fight?
Oh, I sparred with Ali a whole lot.
So you fight Michael Spinks gave Muhammad Ali a lot of intel.
Oh yeah, we had some good workout.
Cool. What were those silent moments like when you guys were away from the gym and you guys spent time together?
Well, just getting into one another. He wanted to know my background. We got along very well. We were like family.
Can you expand on that?
Well, he asked me to do things for him, and I asked him to do things for me. He did things for me, and I've done things to him. We were very close.
Any examples of that?
Well, I'd rather keep that to myself.
How we gonna get these stories, man? How we gonna get all these stories?
There's some things in life you have to keep secret to yourself.
I understand. I definitely understand. And so getting back to your career, you beat Marvin Johnson, and you actually defended it a couple of times, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
And then you actually fought Michael Spinks. We were talking about the build up to that fight.
Right. Michael was a great fighter. I couldn't take nothing away from him. But he caught me on a time where I had to make weight because I went all the way up to 200 pounds when I fought Ronaldo Snipes, because he was a heavyweight. And I had to come all the way down from 200 and to 175, and I did that but I was so weak.
Wow. Huh. So that stuff is true about cutting the weight. Roy Jones going up to heavyweight and then coming back down. Yeah. So in your perfect scenario, you probably would have wanted to stay at cruiserweight at the very least.
No, there wasn't a cruiserweight at the time.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, that's why a lot of older fighters don't like the cruiserweight division. I talk to a lot of older fighters, and they say they don't, and that must be the reason why they want to go back to heavyweight and super heavyweight.
It wasn't a cruiserweight.
Yeah, they say they'd rather go to heavyweight and super heavyweight. Actually, Michael Moore said that in an interview last week. He said that he would rather eliminate the cruiserweight and just have heavyweight and super heavyweight.
Well, everybody got their
picks
on what, you know. If I'd had that, there would have been cruiserweight when I was fighting, I'd have been cruiserweight champion.
Yeah. Right. How would you assess boxing today in comparison to the 80s and the 70s?
It's entirely different. You know, the money is more lucrative. You know, if I knew what I knew back then, I'd have probably still been world champion today.
Wow. And what is that you know now that would have aided you?
A whole lot. A whole lot. A whole lot.
Who was your promoter?
I didn't have a promoter. I didn't need a promoter.
You never
my
had
left hand and my right hand was my promoter.
And your judges. Really? You
exactly.
Never. How did you get? Okay. Let's talk about that. How did you get all those fights? How were you able to get into a heavyweight title fight without a promoter?
Because I believed in myself. I didn't need a promoter to believe in myself.
Damn. That seems so far-fetched now, because now they gotta, man, even if you win, you got to be signed if you win. Kind of like what I remember Dying King said, I'm always leaving with the winner. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I've seen that too many times. Don's guy can get knocked out. Don will step over him in the middle of the ring, go right to the other corner.
Yeah, man. Talk about the promoters, man. If we can start from the beginning, Bob Arum and Herbert Muhammad. What do you know about that relationship and the genesis of Top Rank?
Well, Ali he gave Bob Arum, he gave him, how do I say, an opportunity to promote him, and he did. And I gave Arum promoted my championship fight because he had the champion, who was Marvin Johnson, and I was the #1 contender. So Marvin had to fight me.
Okay.
He could not duck, which I never knew Marvin to be a guy that run away from a challenge. He was a hell of a fighter.
How would you assess Herbert Muhammad's relationship and Bob Arum's relationship, since you worked with the both of them to get to fight Marvin Johnson?
Yeah, Herbert was a good friend of mine, and to this day, Bob Arum is also a good friend of mine.
Okay.
I have nothing against those guys.
How was Herbert Muhammad as a man? Can you elaborate on that? I never met him.
Sharp, smart, knew the boxing game well. He made sure that his fighters got paid top dollar. He always looked out for the fighter.
Okay. So do you take offense to a lot of the rumors that the pros and cons, they say, oh, he wasn't good for Ali. Some say he was good for Ali. He was bad for Ali.
Well, there's going to be pros and cons in everybody's life and career. You know, there's good and the bad. You got to take the bitter with the sweet. That's all that is.
So I'm very impressed that you won a world championship without a promoter. That's That's pretty amazing. That's astounding.
It's not amazing for me because I believed in myself.
No, I know. Oh, I get it. I get it. But with all these TV deals now, see, the way I see boxing is definitely different than the way you see boxing in the 60s, because 50s, because maybe you come out of, maybe because you have the mindset, you know, it's a different kind of mindset, I would say, especially in the epic center of New York. You know what I mean? You cross the bridge, you in Harlem, you know. It's a different level of, I got to get it. You know what I mean? You know, I just find it.
But I had that confidence in myself. I knew I was. Look, I first fought for the light heavyweight championship. I fought Victor Galindez in his hometown, and I beat him fair and square, and they robbed me. You know, they said he won the fight, so that just solidified my belief in myself, because Victor was supposed to be a killer. You know, and I beat him up.
And you just said, moving forward, you just thought that was the best way.
I said, the next time I fight for the title, I know what I have to do to the champion, which is knock him out.
How did you get away from Herbert Muhammad? You know what I mean? Like, because you guys are Muslim brothers.
Away from Herbert. Herbert was never my manager.
No,
we were just good friends.
No, I know that. No, what I'm asking is like, how did, like, because you guys are Muslim brothers, you guys understand each other in terms of business. It's amazing that you didn't at least sign with him. You know what I mean? Because there's a level of trust there.
But I got a lot of advice from Herbert.
Gotcha.
You know, I didn't have to sign with him. I got a lot of advice from him, and we were good friends.
What's some of the advice that that he gave you that you can share now?
Well, just about, you got to watch out for the promoters. You know, the promoters think they're fighting. They think they're the ones that people come to pay to see him fight, which is not true.
Okay. So when you hear fighters say that they have to give away 50% of their purse to managers, promoters,
it's not true.
It's not true?
That's not true. No.
Expound on that.
The fight, in reality, the fighter is only supposed to give 33 1/3% to the manager. That was standard. The trainer who trains the fighter gets 10%, and the fighter gets the rest.
So who pays the promoter?
The promoter gets his money from TV.
Oh, so it's 57% the fighter takes home, and 43% he has to give out.
You got to give out 33 1/3% to the manager, and 10% to the trainer.
And that's pretty standard.
Yeah, standard.
What's your take on that 33% now and that 10%? I understand.
Well, if I got a good manager, he's doing his job, I don't mind.
Okay, gotcha. Who was your manager?
I had Ben Muhammad.
Ben Muhammad. How was he as a manager?
He was cool.
Why you say it's cool? That's the first time I heard you say cool in this interview.
But he was cool. He did a lot of good things for me. He was very knowledgeable about the game of boxing. I just followed his lead, and I learned a lot.
What's some of the hiccups that you had in your career in terms of the business, now that we're on the business side?
Oh, I knew what I was worth.
What was the worst deal they offered you? And you said, get that shit out of here.
Nah, they treated me good because they knew that I was around some people that knew the game that I was associated with. So they wouldn't want to pull nothing over on me.
You never feared being blackballed?
Not at all.
Why?
Because I was what you call a knockout artist. People pay to see the knockouts.
So you 100% knew and believed what you were bringing to the table.
Exactly.
would you say the business of boxing is better now or worse now?
Well, right now everything is slowed down because of the coronavirus. So there's nothing happening now. Nothing at all.
Prior to the coronavirus, in terms of the business of boxing.
Oh, TV. When you bring TV to the equation of boxing, it nullifies the whole situation. You get paid more money, and then with HBO, any type of TV, it pays good money.
Now, when you got your checks, did the checks come to you and you paid your manager, or did the check?
Yeah, they came to me,
and you paid your manager, right?
Right, paid the manager and the trainer.
Nowadays, some fighters get paid through their manager. Why is that?
Because they don't know better.
They don't know any better.
They're the boss. The fighter's the boss. They don't come to see the manager box.
Gotcha. Who have you trained? Badu Jack, right?
Oh, I trained a whole lot of guys. I trained about 12 world champions.
Yeah, just name a few.
Iran Barkley, he was 3-time world champion.
Iran the Blade Barkley.
Badu Jack.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I was thinking he's out of New York as well, if I'm not mistaken. Iran the Blade Barkley. Yeah.
Yeah, Iran from the Bronx. Frank Tate, he was middleweight champion. Michael Bent, here's a guy that he only had 9 fights, and they put him in a world title fight against Tommy Morrison for the world heavyweight title. We knocked him out in the first round.
I remember that fight. He had the American stuff on, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
I remember that fight.
Yes.
I was a kid. I remember that.
Knocked him out in the first round.
I remember that fight. He was dancing in the ring. Now he was hit so hard that I remember that joint. Yeah, I remember that. I remember like it was yesterday because he was the next great white hype. I remember that.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that vividly.
They forgot to tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. Some other champions you've trained.
Arthur Williams, cruiserweight champion. Let me see. I just can't name off the top of my head. It's been so long. I've trained a whole lot of champions.
Who was the most recent ones?
Rob Brandt. He was middleweight champion.
Oh, Rob Brandt. Oh, you had him in that fight against the Japanese kid?
Yeah, Rob did some things that wasn't called for. Training for that fight. And he thought he knew it all. You can't. I'm a very disciplinarian. You can't train for a fight with your wife always being around you. You can't do that. Man, we went to Tokyo 2 weeks before the fight, and she was there the whole 2 weeks. You can't do that. And I didn't want to be the bad guy to tell her that she couldn't come until maybe like a day before the fight.
Sure.
But he should have known better.
Yeah. So, some people say it kills your aggression. I hear fighters
it does.
Fighters.
It does.
Tell me what you say about this. Fighters say this, like sex and food makes me the lack of food and sex gets me into the fighter stage. Like it makes me organically aggressive. You know what I mean?
Well, no, listen, when you're having sex during training, that's no good. That's no good. You can't do that. That don't mix.
Gotcha.
It takes the aggression out of you. Your legs get weak. You cannot do that.
Are you still at the Mayweather gym training?
No, I'm at another gym.
Oh, okay. What fighters did you had? Badu Jack out of the Mayweather gym, and who else?
Yeah, I had Badu.
Uh-huh.
I had I had a few other guys. Ishe Smith.
Okay.
I trained him to be a world champion. You know, Arthur Williams, he was a world cruiserweight champion.
Okay.
Mike Bent, he was the world heavyweight champion.
So you no longer train at the Mayweather gym? How's that relationship still good? You just
me and Floyd always gonna be cool. We like family.
That's beautiful.
No, we always gonna be cool. You know, he's always gonna be my man, and I'm always gonna be his man.
Yeah, he lost his uncle a few weeks back, and a friend of yours.
Yeah,
and
Roger,
a great friend of yours. Yeah.
I've been knowing Roger so long, man. Just won't be the same without him around.
Right. Yeah.
Roger had a saying. The saying was, "You don't know shit about boxing."
Everyone says that.
Yeah, that's Roger's saying. He need to coin that phrase.
Yeah. It should be a shirt line. You know what I mean? If Floyd was smart, he should make that a part of the TMT brand. You don't know shit about boxing. That shirt would sell great.
That was Roger.
Yeah, exactly right. You're exactly right. Genius move right there. You know what I mean?
I was with Roger when he won his first world title.
I can't imagine what y'all did after.
Oh man, we was in Puerto Rico. He knocked out a Puerto Rican in Puerto Rico, and he was jumping around. I said, "Man, you better get your ass up out of here. They gonna kill us."
Oh man! Oh, I can't imagine how much fun y'all had after the fight, or when y'all landed back in America.
We had a good time. Always had it. Me and Roger was always cool, man.
I remember Bob Arum telling me in an interview, so I can say this publicly. He said, I forget, was it Foreman or Frazier? I can't remember, but when Ali won, he says that he says, "Man, we had an orgy for like 3 days."
I heard that.
Yeah,
I heard that.
Yeah, that was my interview. That was my interview. You heard it. And he says, "Man, we woke up." He says, "Man, I was in the room for 3 days. I had no idea it was the best time of my life." I was like,
Bob is a good guy. I like Bob. I always did like Bob.
You know, Bob is always one of my better interviews because we disagree on a lot of things, but he stands firm on what he believes in, and I like that. You know,
without a doubt.
I love that about Bob.
He's gonna do.
I love that about Bob. You know what I mean? And he's a Hall of Fame promoter. You know what I mean? To do one thing for 50 or 60 years, something got to be right. You understand?
Listen, Bob at the top of the line as far as promotion.
How
Top Rank has been at the top of the line since Bob started Top Rank out.
How would you?
If it wasn't for Bob, there would have been no ESPN.
How would you rate Don King as a promoter?
Don is a good promoter, but Don promotes himself. Bob don't promote himself. Bob lets his action speaks louder than words.
So you would give Bob the nod over.
No, both of them are great promoters. I wouldn't give. Bob is more about Top Rank. That's his company.
And Don is more about him, like promotes himself.
Don King and himself. You got two fighters on a card. You see a big poster with Don King's picture. Bigger than the fighters who's fighting.
Gotcha.
Don don't promote himself. He promotes the event.
How many times have you been on a Don King card?
None.
You've never been on a Don King card ever?
No, I didn't want to be. Gabrielle.
Wow.
I didn't want to be on the Don King card.
Why is that?
That time I was my own self. I didn't want to be on Don's card because I've heard a lot about Don King, how he treats fighters, and I didn't want to be on his cards.
So you mind expounding on that a little bit, because you and Muhammad Ali were great friends. And what year did Don King pick up Muhammad Ali?
Oh, I couldn't tell you when.
Okay. I'll have to do my research on that. So I'm sure you and Muhammad Ali have had some conversations or some interactions as it relates to Don King.
Well, basically, I knew some of the things that he'd done to Ali. It's crazy, but it is. It happened. It happened.
What's some of the crazy?
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, for sure. Easy. So yeah, we're on the phone with world champ Eddie Mustafa Muhammad. If you've been to Vegas, the Mayweather gym, you've definitely seen him in there. And I just can't wait to keep on bringing you guys all these classic interviews in terms of historical content that you can't get nowhere else but through these men. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hello.
Oh yeah, I'm back. Yeah. So I asked you prior, what are some of the things that some crazy things? Use the word crazy. What are some crazy things that you've heard Don King did to Muhammad Ali and other fighters?
Well, he tell them they're getting paid one amount and gives them another amount. That's just how that is. Well, see, you can't do that with my money. I signed one contract, and whatever's on that contract, that's what I'm getting paid.
Gotcha. Was there ever a conflict between Muslims and Don King, or was it just always it worked out?
Well, I didn't have a problem with Don because I never had him promote any of my fights. Don, everybody was so-called scared of Don except the Muslims. I remember we did a show in the Bahamas.
His last fight.
Don tried to bogart the show. And he got his ass kicked.
Take your time and tell that story. It was against Trevor Berbick, right? If I'm not mistaken, it was Muhammad Ali's last fight, right?
Yeah.
Tell the story because this is all I know the story because I hang around a lot of black people in boxing. But take your time and tell that story if you don't mind.
Well, I was on the card. Ali was on the card. I was semifinal. And so I heard that Don was in town to try to disrupt the fight. So I heard some Muslim brothers got together, went up to Don's room and whooped his ass. And everything was straight after that.
And I actually heard Trevor Berbick cried at the end of that fight. Is that true?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, you don't know?
I couldn't tell you.
You couldn't tell you. Okay. So you was actually on the card in the Bahamas on Muhammad Ali's last fight. What's the conversation?
Exactly.
So what's the conversation like there?
When you say what was the conversation as far as what?
Like with you and Muhammad Ali. Like I don't know what year that was, but
well, we just boxed a tremendous amount of rounds. Getting each other in condition, mentally and physically.
No, I was asking you post fight because you actually, I'm looking on your box rec now. You actually won that fight against Michael Harden, right? You knocked him out. You knocked him out in the 8th round, and Muhammad Ali actually lost his last fight, if I'm not mistaken, to Trevor Berbick, right?
Yep.
And
the fights that Ali lost, the 2 fights I've boxed on Ali's cards 3 times. And all 3 times, Ali would lose and I would win.
Really?
Yeah.
Imagine that conversation. Talk about that. Because I know that there's a lot of conversations.
Well, he lost to Leon Spinks the first fight. And that's when I fought Jesse Burnett in Vegas. I knocked Jesse out in the 10th round. And but Ali, he lacked training sometimes because he figured he was the greatest. He didn't have to train, but he didn't know that even the greatest got to train. But he would come back and do what he had to do and win the rematch.
Was he the greatest?
For the heavyweight division, without a doubt.
How about his stance on social issues?
Well, that's what separated him from boxing.
Sure.
Because whatever he stood for, he believed in.
Why did you, in your greatest guesstimation, why did America not take to him while he was fighting? Then when he retired, they took to him?
Because when they found out about the Vietnam War, right, when they found out that we didn't belong in Vietnam, and Ali took that stand and told him, Vietnam never called me a nigger. And he's 100% right. I backed him. If I had to go to the service, I'd have took the same route Ali took. We, at that time, everything was against the black people, black folks. Then they sending us to the front lines, without sending their sons and daughters, they send black folks to the front lines. If I had to do it all over again, and if I had to go to Vietnam, I wouldn't have went. And my draft card was 1A. That means I was ready to go to Vietnam, but I wouldn't have went.
What was the conversations like about? Did you travel with Muhammad Ali when he used to give those speeches and stuff like that, and those interviews, or just when he was on the East Coast?
No, we did a lot of different things, but he was a great speaker, and he believed. The thing about Ali, he believed what he talked about. He believed whatever he said. He believed it. He wasn't no phony.
What's some of the things you don't like that they say about Muhammad Ali that bothers you? That's because you had a personal relationship with him.
Well, people are going to talk. They want to try to make the headlines.
Gotcha.
But I was around Ali. I knew how he was. So whatever they was talking about, I just looked at him and laughed.
Did you ever meet Elijah Muhammad?
Never.
Never met him?
Never.
How about Malcolm? I know you were a little kid, but how about Malcolm?
No, I knew Malcolm today. I knew his daughters.
Wow. How's the relationship with you and his daughters today?
Great. We cool. We Facebook each other.
Okay, that's
we're real cool. They call me uncle.
Yeah. I'm a huge. I love Malcolm X. You know what I mean, and I consider him one of my heroes. You know what I mean.
Before when you dig deep into Malcolm's bio, you claim that you get to know him more.
Yes.
And when he got killed, Ali was kind of upset that he got killed. Ali was sorry that Malcolm got killed.
They were friends at some point, if I'm not mistaken. Because
very good friends. Very good friends.
By most accounts, he introduced Muhammad Ali to Elijah Muhammad. Am I right?
Yeah. As far as I know.
Tell us what you know about that.
Well, Well, like you just said, he introduced him to Elijah Muhammad, and Ali got close. You got to remember, Malcolm was the second in command, of not the second in command. He was high up on the totem pole, until things happened.
Did you get a chance to meet Elijah's Muhammad sons? Because I think Wallace Muhammad took over.
Yeah, I know Wallace.
Okay,
I know Wallace. I know Herbert.
Okay.
I know the Farrakhan. Yeah.
Okay. How was the Nation of Islam during the pros and cons, the pluses and the minuses, the good, the bad, while Elijah Muhammad was in charge, and then I believe his son took it over, and then Farrakhan?
Yeah,
Wallace, right?
Wallace Dean Muhammad, yeah.
Can you talk about like the differences?
Well, Wallace just opened things up more because of when Malcolm went to the Far East, it opened up a lot of his Malcolm's eyes that he brought back with him to the United States. A lot of things that Malcolm brought back into the States that he saw when he made his pilgrimage to Mecca.
Sure.
And he just incorporated them over here.
Now with the I'm glad you mentioned that. With the pilgrimage to Mecca, I'm going to paraphrase what Malcolm said. You probably know his quote better than me, but he basically says, I go to Mecca and there's people that's Muslims in Mecca that I would consider devils in America. And
right.
And if you and that pretty much is the opposing statements of the Nation of Islam, because white people were devils, if I'm not mistaken.
Because they didn't know. They didn't go. There's white Muslims in the United States now, but we didn't have that back then.
So is that is that one of the many reasons or a few reasons why the relationship imploded?
Well, it's just that and a whole lot of other things. It's just not one thing. In order to know about a way of life, you have to go out where the way of life started. I call it the way of life. It's a religion, though. And then when you go to other countries and see how they live, and then you can come back and incorporate that into how we live.
Sure.
Malcolm didn't know they were white Muslims until he went over there.
Yeah. And he actually changed his name. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, with that ideology in Malcolm X, and if I'm not mistaken, Elijah Muhammad's son kind of took to that, right? If I'm not mistaken. Did he take?
Well, I don't know, but all I know is what I see, and what I believe in. When Malcolm came back, he opened up a lot of eyes.
Yeah.
In the Muslim world.
What will Malcolm X be today?
He would be a hero.
Is there some pain when you think about Malcolm, and because he didn't reach his full potential?
Oh, it's got to be. I wish I could have had a sit down and talk with Malcolm before he passed. I would love to get into his head.
What would you say about Elijah Muhammad in terms of Who would Elijah Muhammad be today, or is he today? He passed of natural causes.
Well, him and Malcolm fell out because Malcolm exposed to him that he had children
Yes.
out of wedlock. You know, I think he had 3 of his secretaries. He got them pregnant. You know, and that's how that ended. You know, because that kept going around. A lot of people didn't like that he brought it out like that.
You mind if I ask you a tough question?
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Feel free, you don't have to answer, but it's just a natural progression. Would Elijah Muhammad, being that all this stuff came out that Malcolm X is true, why does he still have the title of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad?
Well, that's out of respect.
Out of respect.
You know, because that's just out of respect.
Because because in today's society, if it's now proven to be true, but by many accounts, by most accounts, that he had children with these women, and some say that they were underage.
No, I don't know. I
couldn't
tell you
okay,
the ages.
Okay. How come it wasn't a meshing point between the two? How come people saw that as absolute betrayal? And there's like there was no mediation. Like when you go to I'm not comparing it to a contract, but let's say, why was there no mediation? It was just visceral, like we got to get rid of this man. It seems like.
No, there should have been mediation. There should have been one guy that said, "Hey, we need to sit down with us and straighten this out." You know, but Elijah Muhammad has so much respect from the Muslim community. You know, and they figure Malcolm was trying to start his own situation. But, you know, things happen, man.
Yeah, you're right. Things do happen. And
right.
Do you think, in your greatest guesstimation, what would have happened if Malcolm and Martin would have teamed up? They started talking like the last 2 years of Malcolm X's career, but they never really got, based off what I know, they never really got in tune and marched down the hill together. I'm not using the term march. I can hold hand in hand, but they never worked together, in terms of.
They never worked together. Hello.
Yeah, I'm listening to you, Mr. Muhammad.
They never worked together, but I thought it would have been a good match, you know. But Malcolm wouldn't turn the other cheek. You know, Martin would turn the other cheek. See, and I'd have to go with Malcolm on that. If you make an attempt,
yes.
If you make an attempt to hit me, I will knock you into another zip code.
Amen.
You know, and that's how it is.
How much of the government do you think played a huge part in the dysfunction of the Nation of Islam in the 60s?
Oh, J. Edgar Hoover had a big part to do with that.
Yeah.
Malcolm was getting too big.
Why do you think people took the bribes? And I'm talking about people of color, because you can't I don't think in the 60s you can infiltrate the Nation of Islam, just common sense with a white person, right? It'll be rather hard. You will stick out like a sore thumb, right? Why were there so many weak links as it relates to accepting bribes from the New York Police Department, Chicago Police Department, Detroit Police Department, in terms of infiltrating the Nation of Islam?
Well, everybody needed money at that point. So what better way to get it if they turncoat?
What's your overall take on J. Edgar Hoover?
Excuse me?
What's your overall take on J. Edgar Hoover?
Oh, J. Edgar would plant things on his own mother, to get her busted. He was down with the FBI. He make up his own lies.
What do you think the conversation would have been like in terms of healing between Elijah and Malcolm?
Well, they had to have a guy in the middle that understood what the whole situation was all about.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people thought that Malcolm was trying to take over the nation, which he wasn't.
He was a truth seeker, right? Moreover than anything, he was. And I'm not answering this for you. I'm giving you my opinion. He was just adamant on the truth.
Well, that's how Malcolm was.
Yeah,
and I never met him, but you can tell the way people talk about him. He was about truth.
Mm.
He was about truth, and he was about what was right.
Yeah. You know why I believe like Malcolm was special? Because we're 55 years removed away, February 1965. We're 55 years removed away from his assassination, and we still got no dirt on him. You know what I mean? Like 50,
and we still talking about him.
And we still talking about him. Like May 19th is coming.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
It's he's probably the only man. He's the only man that I ever know that if 50 years later they can say, oh, he had 14. He did this, he did that.
Right. Malcolm's name will live in infamy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just like Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those names will go down in history, living in infamy.
Mm. No, that's by far the truth. My gosh, that's by far the truth. Why do you think? Was it okay? Let me back up. How much do you think Farrakhan knows about the situation between Malcolm and Elijah?
Well, they were saying that Farrakhan had something to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Farrakhan said he had nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that he had nothing to do with it. Mm-hmm. But people are going to say what they're going to say anyway.
Mm. Who do you think bombed his house?
I couldn't tell you. Some disgruntled Muslims that were loyal to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You got to remember that was Elijah Muhammad's house.
That was his house.
That Malcolm was living in.
Sure. Mm.
And then when things started going crazy, that's when everything started to happen.
Damn. And then a week later, he's gone.
Right.
Mm. It was like it was. I'm not laughing. I'm just. It was like we're getting him out of here now.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is.
Mm. Mm. What would you want from? Because I saw the documentary as you did. What would you want the Muslims in Newark that know the truth? Would you want them to die with it, or would you want them to tell all out of curiosity?
Look, it's never going to come out. It's never going to come out. The truth will never come out.
Why is that?
Because number one, the people that they accuse of killing Malcolm, they're dead now. Mm. I think only one guy is living.
Tommy Hayer, he's still alive.
He's still alive. The other two passed away.
I've been looking for him. Every time I go to a fight in New York, I always go visit Malcolm's gravesite in New York every time I go. And
where's he buried at?
He's buried above the Bronx at I'll get it right now. Whereas I forget the name of the funeral home, but he's in the same cemetery as James Baldwin as well. Let me get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I always rent a car and go visit him. That's my trip to Mecca. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I go through Harlem. I go through Harlem and catch the West Side. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then go straight up. And Ferncliff Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he and Betty are buried there. And pretty unassuming grave. Regular grave. It's no big headstone or nothing like that. It's
we're not allowed to have headstones.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
We just have a little marker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just has his
not
name
a
on
huge
it.
Headstone.
Yeah, it just had. Yeah, exactly right. You know, what I mean, it's just he and Betty Shabazz. You know, and did you know Betty?
Yeah.
Like just on a high and by, or like
that's it. Just high and by.
High and
I
by.
mean, they knew who I was.
Yeah, man, it's so painful, man. But I'm just so interested in the truth because I've only read it in the books. And then I was thinking like 2 years ago, I said, "Oh my God, all these stories I have about Malcolm are in boxing." You know what I mean? Because of the Nation of Islam. I'm like, I gotta get these stories out of people, man. And because I know 100 years from now, people are gonna be Googling these interviews and you're gonna be part of a movie. You know what I mean? They're gonna be telling they have to, you know, because everybody's gonna be long gone, you know. So
right, exactly.
You know what I mean? So I just think it's just essential that we get these stories out, man. And it's just, to me, it's painful because I watched the last episode of that Who Killed Malcolm on Netflix, and it just pained me that one, the Muslims before he died basically said, we all know the truth, but we ain't telling, you know. And two, the man died right when he was on the cusp of going to get the interview.
Yeah.
You know, but I would love to
what
get
was the brother's name? I forgot his name.
Me too.
But he was a good friend of mine.
Oh, was he? Damn.
Yeah.
And I would be remiss to ask you, did you guys ever had any conversations about Malcolm? I have to ask the question. I know what you're going to say.
Never.
I know.
Never.
I would be doing my job if I didn't ask that question. Oh,
yeah,
man.
no, that's cool. That's cool. But we never even talked about it. Even there was rumors that he was the one with the shotgun. He pulled the trigger, you know.
How strong were those rumors? Like believable rumors, or just like a you know, like he might have did it?
Well, it was like he may have done it. Then you got some that said he pulled the trigger. But you know what? He was a good friend of mine.
Gotcha.
You know, we talked boxing. That's all we did.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about Malcolm.
Because you're a hero in that in that part of town.
Yeah, I'm well known over there.
Yeah, and you're a Muslim, so you hitting them on two sensors: boxing, world champion, and being a Muslim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know.
But what was his name?
Let me get it. Let me Google it. Let me get. It was Mr. Bradley.
Yeah, Bradley. What was his first name?
It was Mr. Bradley. Researchers content that killed Mr. Shabazz, who died 2018, denied any. Let me get it right now. Have you, while I find it, have you ever been to the Autobahn? Did you ever?
Yeah.
I've never gone in because I always go on Saturdays because I always go before the fight because in New York, the fights are a lot later. So I'm able to go to Harlem and stuff. So they always close on Saturday. So I've never been
still up? Do they still have it working?
During the week they do, but not on the weekends. It's always closed every time I go. But I can see through it. It's they have like a cutout.
Mustafa Bradley.
Mustafa Bradley. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah.
Because I knew his the lady he was dating, Carolyn Kelly. You know, we did a lot of things together. You know.
Damn. I wish someone could interview his wife. you know, but she's been declining interviews for 2 years, you know.
Yeah, she ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, I mean, man, I just hope, because maybe just to clear his name, you know, he didn't do it, you know, or you know, which, because I know she knows, you know, so.
So do a lot of other people.
Yeah, so do a lot of other people, you know what I mean? But you know, if that man didn't get it out of him, I'm pretty sure that it's gonna be real challenging for other people to get out of him. But
without a doubt, without a doubt,
maybe
he was cool with me.
Mm-hmm.
Mustafa was cool with me. Yeah.
Imagine if he would have told you that. That would have been tough pill for you to swallow. You know what I mean? Dealing with that, dealing with the pressures of knowing what happened to Malcolm and keeping the sanctity of the Muslims here in America.
Yeah.
You know, that would have been tough pill to swallow. You know, what would you say to the Muslims in Newark? Would you want them to take it to the grave, or would you want the truth? I know I asked you that earlier in the interview, but
there's a lot of Muslims knew what happened.
Do you think they should produce their own documentary and tell the truth, or just let it just go in silence?
Let it ride. Malcolm's been dead a long time. You know, a lot of people know what happened, but they're not saying nothing. All I'm saying is I wasn't there, so I couldn't tell you what happened.
How about his daughters, though?
We never talked about that.
No, I understand that, but how about them knowing the truth? Having finality?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if they want to know what happened. It's been a long time.
I get that. I totally get that. Yeah. Well, yeah, 6 daughters? 5 daughters, 2 twins. Yeah.
No, you got 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Excuse me, 4. He's the original girl dad. You know, he had 4. Yeah, he had 2 twins.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's pretty impressive, man. I thank you for your time, man. This was a hell of an interview.
No problem.
Yeah, I think
no problem.
I'll send you the link. And you know what I want? Anybody you could think of, like I would love to interview Malcolm's daughters. I've reached out to them, but I mean, they probably left on unread, but I would love.
But they was kind of young when he got assassinated.
Yeah, but I just would love to know what it's like to be around Betty Shabazz post Malcolm X or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like all these stories, I just would like to, get out. If anybody you could think of, not just them, but anybody you could think of, I would love to interview them.
Yeah, I'll see what's up.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get h0t Muhammad tonight, so hopefully I get him. How were you with h0t Muhammad?
Me and h0t was cool. All h0t would do is talk about himself.
So you said was
h0t
cool.
made me laugh.
You said was cool. Yeah. So you guys aren't cool any longer, or are you guys still cool?
No, I'm cool. I'm cool with everybody. Yeah. I try not to have any enemies, but that's kind of hard.
Yeah, it is.
h0t, we cool.
Who was one of your enemies?
It is what it is.
In boxing? Not that you hate him now, but who was one of your enemies in boxing?
I didn't have any enemies.
Or who you just wanted to beat as a trainer, as a fighter? It was somebody you actually wanted.
No, I just wanted to do the best that I could do, and I've done that. I've been blessed to have world champions, and do what I do. I've been in 4 Hall of Fames, and I'll be in another Hall of Fame probably next year. So
which one is that? Which one is that?
The International Boxing Hall of Fame. I'm in the New York Hall of Fame, California Hall of Fame, Las Vegas Hall of Fame, and New Jersey Hall of Fame.
Okay. Oh, so you get a chance to hear a lot of Leon Muhammad's interviews, right? Do you watch his interviews?
Oh yeah, I know Leon. I know Leon very well.
How's those conversations like? I love listening to him.
I mean, Leon is cool. Leon is cool. Which you got to pay to even be around Leon.
Right. Yeah,
You
man.
know, every time I see Leon, he could have a pocket full of money. He still want to borrow something. That's my man, though.
Yeah,
that's
Leon.
my guy.
Yeah, Leon, man. What fighters do you have now?
Oh, I have a kid from Canada that's 13-0 with 13 knockouts. He's a heavyweight white kid out of Canada. He can punch.
Who did he sign
Then
with?
I got another kid. Huh?
Who's he signed with?
He signed with Greg Cohen.
Oh, Greg Cohen. Okay, got you. Okay.
And then I got another kid that I'm going to sign him with Greg Cohen also. Keep him busy. So I got things pretty much the way it is until this coronavirus calm down. Then we're going to get on the good foot.
Anything you would want to change as a fighter or a trainer in boxing, or something you could have done better?
No, because listen, I never would tell anybody that I was the greatest trainer in the world. But I know I'm good at what I do. You know, so I do what I do, and I'm having a great time doing it. I'm having fun doing it.
I bet. How is Las Vegas now? How is it?
Vegas, it gets about 90 right about now. Yesterday was 90.
Jesus.
And it's cool.
Well, you're used to it.
I'm having a great time out here.
You're used to it. You're used to it.
Yeah, I'm used to it. It ain't hot. 120 is hot.
Shit, whenever
I've seen a lot of them days.
Whenever your chapstick melts, it's hot, man. It's hot. I'm gonna tell you that, right? Every time I go to Vegas for a fight in the spring and the summertime, I can't leave I got to take my chapstick with me. I can't leave it in the car.
Every time. I hear you. Where are you at now?
LA. So it's way more moderate.
Oh, okay.
Way more moderate.
I used to live in LA.
Where about?
Santa Monica.
Oh yeah. You had the good life. That's a good life. Santa Monica's good times. Yeah, Santa Monica's great. It's a great city.
Oh yeah. I used to live right across the street from the spaghetti factory.
I'm not sure. What street was that on? I'm not sure if it's still there.
I forgot, man.
Okay. Like 3rd Street.
Across the street.
3rd Street Promenade-ish, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you way
I had
down.
a great time over there. I've been over there for like 5 years.
Oh yeah. You are gonna have a good time if you live there for sure. Everything is at your front door.
Yeah.
You walk
everything.
Whatever you want is right there. You know.
I used to run on the beach. Me and Jim Brown.
Oh, Jim Brown. You and Jim Brown were friends, huh? Or are friends? Yeah.
Oh, me and Jim tight, man. I've been knowing Jim a long time. Me and Smokey Robinson are good friends. Yeah, I know a lot of guys.
There's that Black Summit picture. What's your take on that Black Summit picture with Lou Alcindor, Muhammad Ali, and Bill Walton? Bill Russell.
Bill Russell. I saw the picture. But they didn't make nothing out of it. That's how that's whoever took the picture. I mean, that was cool, but nothing happened.
Where's the state of the black athlete now? Would you say better, worse, indifferent?
It's better. It's getting better because you got guys speaking out.
Gotcha. What needs to change in boxing?
Just that the promoters got to realize that they don't come to see them promote. They come to see the fighters fight.
Gotcha. How about the sanctioning fees and all that when you win a belt?
Well, it is what it is. This is what we work for, to win a belt, to make more money for your family.
Do you think fighters should pay sanctioning fees? Because
they're fighting for the belt. They should pay sanctioning fees.
How about the network? Should the network pay the sanctioning fees?
No, not at all. You go right to the fighter. You want to fight for the belt. This is what you got to pay.
How about the retirement and pension and healthcare? Where should that come from?
Well, the fighters should start a union. I tried to start a union for these guys.
And what happened? What the hell happened with that?
They didn't want it. You know, they were scared. You know, I tried to start a union. I had the backing of the Teamsters Union.
How long ago was this?
About 5 years ago.
Really? How far along did you get?
Oh yeah.
How far along did you get?
I got very far.
Really?
Yeah.
And
it'll happen. It'll happen.
It has to happen. It'll
happen.
I know the fighters who are making millions of dollars definitely don't want it. You know, I mean, it's not advantageous to them, but the 80% of the fighters who are,
not making that type of money.
Exactly. You understand? Because they have something here in California where if you fight 100 rounds, you get a retirement. Is it 100 rounds or something like that? Somewhere in there, but that's a lot of rounds though. So
that's a lot of rounds.
That's a lot. So
like Jack Johnson.
Yeah, so like it's hard to get there. You got to have all your fights in LA. But the reason why they do that because they want the tax revenue. So right. Yeah, so they kind of want the big fights to come to LA. But
but the fights are coming to Vegas because they saw the gambling is that.
Yeah.
So that's how that is.
What's the best fight you've ever been a part of in terms of training or fighting yourself?
I had one of my guys, Iran Barkley, beat Tommy Hearns twice. He's the only man that beat Tommy Hearns twice, knocked him out, and then I appointed him.
Did you have Iran Barkley against Chavez?
Against who?
Chavez. Didn't Iran Barkley fight Chavez?
No, we fought Duran.
Excuse me, I always get them. No. You're right. I'm thinking of Roberto Duran, and that was a hell of a fight. You had him that fight, right?
I got him right after that fight.
Oh, you got him right after that fight.
We won 3 world titles after that.
Wow. He was thinking about making a comeback. Did you tell him to sit down, or did you say go?
He better come back to his senses. leave the fighting alone, man. Shit.
I saw it online. He wanted to make a comeback. I was like, man, please don't do it, man. It's a young man's sport.
No, he won't do it. He won't do it.
Good, man. Man, this was a fun interview, man. Anytime, save my number, please. Anytime you want to get out, like you want to promote your fighters, because a lot of thousands of people gonna watch this interview. So if you want to save my number.
I got you covered.
And anybody, I'm gonna text you the link to the interview once it uploads. And
okay, I appreciate that.
And anything you need from me moving forward, man, please never hesitate. And
thank you very much.
I'll tell Marat what you told him about. All he wants to do is talk about himself. Hopefully, I can get him in the next 3 or 4 hours. I've never met him, but I was born in New York, so I can't have.
I was born in New York too.
Yeah, I know that. That's why I was born in the Bronx, but I was raised in Harlem, so I can't. So like, there's no history of boxing. Marat is so attached to boxing in New York, so it's just I'm hopefully I get to interview him, because I would love to get all those stories about Herbert and all them, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so but yeah, I'm definitely excited for that, man. I appreciate your time. You gave us 90 minutes, man.
No problem. No problem.
I genuinely appreciate. I'll send you the interview once it uploads.
All right, we just touched the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, well, listen, I'm here for it. So you just call me. No, I'm serious. I'm dead serious. When you call me and say, Fred, I just want to talk about this subject, we'll talk about it.
Mm-hmm. I got you.
And I'll just hit the record button and you just go.
All right, Fred, you got it.
Appreciate you.
You got it.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad.
You take care of yourself.
I appreciate you. Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, man. He said we just touched the tip of the iceberg, man. I'm excited, man, because I want all of us to have these stories, because he who tells history owns it. You know what I mean? So and I'm gonna try and do my best to be as unbiased, just lay the question and just ask them so you guys can formulate your truth. But I think this is gonna be fun during this quarantine. I'm about to call Murat Muhammad now. For those of you who don't know, you guys, recent history knows him from Manny Pacquiao and Razor Ruddock, if I'm not mistaken. He had Razor Ruddock. So I'm gonna try and do that interview now. And Barbershop Conversations, man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Eddie, Mustafa, Muhammad. Thank you for offering the boxing world and the world 90 minutes of your time. And more interviews to come, y'all. Stay locked. Appreciate y'all. Peace.